Hey everybody, and welcome to my N5 series on the Akai MPC, where I cover a topic in about 5 minutes. Today, I want to specifically work on and go over the MPC Live 3 and the USB-C audio and how to get this connection to work with, in particular, the GPDWin Mini 2025 that I've got here. Um, it is off installing all kinds of updates, so this might just be a little annoying, but I'm going to pick up the Win Mini because I want to show you how to get some things set up. BJamin since birth was asking about latency and how to get this to perform with like as low latency as possible. I kind of gone over this in some other videos. You absolutely are going to want to install ASIO for all, and I'm going to open that up just so you can see what it looks like. And I'll put a link for it in the description. But if you have everything set up correctly, you should end up with two options here for ASIO for all. You should see Realtek R Audio, which is the like headphone jack, the speakers, and the microphone over here, and that will allow you to use any of your audio devices with ASIO to get like the lowest latency, and you can actually adjust like sample compensation and how many samples are used for the buffer. And if you have the drivers installed for the MPC Live 3, you will see this other Akai. It's probably hard to read, but it says Akai Professional MPC Live 3 Audio right there. And then you have like some options for what the inputs and outputs are that it can see. Now, to get this installed, though, on at least on Windows, this works by default on the iPad and on a Mac. It just like sees it and you can route to it immediately because of the class compliant audio drivers. Unfortunately, that is not how this works. So you're going to have to go on Windows into your system, load into InMusic, the InMusic app. If you don't have that, just go download it from your Akai Pro account. And you need to go to this My Hardware. Man, this is like super terrible to read. You go to My Hardware, and you're going to see it says MPC Live 3. When you click that, it's going to open up this, and then you're going to see where it says apps and hardware and plugins and stuff. This is all the things that come with the MPC Live 3 for getting it. So you'll see when you come over here, it's going to have like a little button that says download. Mine says installed because I've already downloaded and installed it, so I can do this demo just to show you how it works. But go do the install, do the download, and it's going to ask you to restart. Once you restart, you'll actually be able to go do some configurations. If you have ASIO for all installed, you'll probably see it looking like this with like the little power button turned on for your Realtek R audio. You'll want to turn that off and then just turn on the ASIO for all. And that's pretty much the most important things that we need to do for getting that set up. If you go restart your InMusic, it's going to say like, hey, we suggest you install a whole bunch of apps, including the MPC3 desktop beta and some other stuff, but we're going to skip that. If you have a app like Ableton, and I just have Ableton because it's easy enough for me to show, but I'm going to hold Control, comma, just to get up the settings view here. So I'm going to show you the settings that you'll want as well. So you're going to go hardware setup. If you go into here, this is another way to get at your ASIO for all drivers and configuration. Assuming you've already done that though, you can go to output config, and it's going to have, you'll probably see this grayed out. It won't let you turn off stereo output unless you have mono. You have to, it's basically saying you have to have one of these. So I'm just going to go stereo 1 and 2. I'm going to click OK. And that just means that we have over USB-C here. This USB-C, we have a stereo output going to the MPC Live. And then from there, the other thing is if you want to have input, you can set up mono input or stereo output or input so you can get send audio from your MPC to the GPDWin Mini. The other important part is we're going to need to go into MIDI, and mine came in, and for whatever reason, it had all these 3 tracked as input ports. So basically, I can send MIDI from the live to the input here, and I can go the other way and just send MIDI out as well. And we can close that. And this is where things get kind of fun, is like, I really like the Triton sound, Korg Triton sound, and I sample it quite a lot because there's a lot of fun things. But if I don't have it with me, I can actually load up this plugin, and to be able to actually do anything to send audio or audio back but MIDI over, I'm just going to arm the track. It's already set to send out to USB 1 and 2, so I just armed the track so that it can now receive MIDI. And all I need to do is we'll just start a new project, and I'm going to come in here, and we're going to go new track. We're going to go MIDI, and I'm going to go MIDI output, and we're going to say USB MIDI port 1, and it's currently not working, which is a bummer. Why is it deciding to not work here? Let's go back, control, comma. These are all turned red. I don't know why it would have done that. This was working earlier. I'm going to turn the track off and then back on. All right, I guess whatever Ableton is trying to tell me by having those turned red, it must have meant something. I can see the VU meter going, so we're definitely getting MIDI over on the left, and then on the right we can see the audio is coming out. So that is now working. So I'm not hearing anything. The reason we're not hearing anything is we just need to go into, for example, the sampler. So I'm just going to double tap sample edit and turn this from off to in. And I just need to send get audio, say USB input. There we go. And I would say a thing to note is in the Ableton app, it will tell you how much latency you've got. So if I hit control, comma again, go back into this, Ableton's telling me that there's about 12.3 milliseconds of latency. Again, I know this is probably super hard to read, but so it says 512 samples, 2.3 milliseconds. If I go to hardware setup, we can take and adjust the slider down. You run the risk of basically having buffer drops or buffer underruns where there's just not enough buffer for it to be able to process fast enough. But I can cut this in half and go to 256 samples and get this down to 6.53 milliseconds. And if it's hangs out and stays solid, man, it feels tighter immediately from doing that. And I'm not hearing any crackling or anything that would indicate that we have a problem. So I would say be jamming. If you're worried about latency and how long, because I totally understand. If you hit the pad and it takes half a second, it becomes almost impossible to play any of these plugins or use an external DAW or something because it just gets very difficult. Even with me running this at 5 watts and 256 buffer size, this feels super great. I don't know that I would go overload the system. I think I just heard a little crackle. But I'm still running a bunch of stuff in the background, so that's the type of thing I wouldn't do. Anyway, yeah, definitely give it a try. For folks that are curious what latency is, it's basically how long does it take you to hit a pad, for example, and something to happen on the other end in this case. So what I'm trying to do is minimize the amount of time it takes for me to hit the pad and then for the sound to happen. You also get other kinds of you can get latency in effects and stuff where the SP404 Mark II that's here, it has to have a pretty long buffer. I think it's for the cassette effect. So it's around 200 milliseconds or a fifth of a second, which for some people you'll be whatever, I don't care. That's not that much. Other people that are very sensitive to that time differentiation will be able to feel as they're playing stuff, and it will mess with them when they're trying to play things. So latency can be very important. It's a good thing to understand how much latency you're adding into your system and environment. But I would say from a USB-C here to USB-C using ASIO for all, MPC 3 Live 3 seems to be working pretty well. So I will just give it 2 thumbs up. I'm going to drop the links in the comment or description for ASIO for all. And hopefully, if anybody's got any questions, feel free to drop them in because I know some of the stuff's a little bit technical sometimes to get set up and figure out. Anyway, everybody, thanks for stopping by. Keep making music. Keep having fun. Remember, if it sounds good, it is good. And peace.